The region has had its fair share of bird watching opportunities, but what do you do if you find yourself in a situation where you've come across maybe an injured bird, maybe a baby bird laying in the road in a tree somewhere?
That's right. You might be surprised to find out it's not as simple as you may have thought. Carolina the Morning's Caitlin Stansel joining us live this morning from the SkyWatch Bird Rescue with a look at what you should do if you find yourself in that situation. Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning. From the outside, SkyWatch Bird Rescue may seem like any other house, but on the inside is what makes it so special. Here, they rescue and rehabilitate injured or orphaned birds. And Abby Thompson is an intern with SkyWatch, and she's joining me now to kind of tell us a little bit about what you need to do, the very first things you need to do when you find an injured or orphaned bird. And it may seem self-explanatory, but it's actually kind of tricky exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, so as soon as you find a bird, the main thing is to find a box or container, Tupperware container, anything will do. Put some towels in the bottom and put the bird in there right away. You want to keep it covered and dark and warm. That's the main priority. And then once you have that, don't try and feed it or give it any water or anything like that. You can call us immediately and we can give you further directions, but the sooner the bird gets in, the faster and the better chance it has at living. So main priority, just get it in a box. You can just put towels, anything you have at home, and keep it covered. Don't talk to it or anything like that. But just get it to us as fast as possible.
And you're online, you said the key thing is to make sure you keep it as less stressed out as possible. That's the important thing.
So obviously a wild bird isn't used to having humans interacting with it. So if you can keep it in the box without your face in it, don't try and show your family or your friends.
A little, it's live TV there, the old microwave signal going down, the
Yeah.
picture freezing up there, so we'll try to check with Caitlin Stansel a little bit later. That reminded me, when I was a kid, I found a red-tailed hawk.
Really?
On the ground, yeah, and brought it home, and from what I can tell so far, it sounds like I did things right. We ended up handing it over to a local zoo, but yeah, when I grew up in Ohio, riding home from the pond one day after swimming, and it was just sitting there in the middle of the road.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. A rescue shelter in Wilmington now doing its best to help keep the Cape Fear region's birds safe, and they're doing it all on their own without the help of any state or federal money.
That's right. From the very smallest hummingbird to the giant pelicans around the area, no bird is in need is ever turned away. Carolina the Morning, Caitlin Stansel joining us now from SkyWatch Bird Rescue. The birds are up and chirping this morning there. Yep. Caitlin.
Good morning. Yes, they are here chirping, and we are at SkyWatch Bird Rescue, and a place that is run on volunteers and donations. One of the interns here, Brooke Holler, is with me, and she's kind of talking about a lot of the injuries that they see come in with these birds. And we have this blue jay here who is actually missing an eye.
He is. He came in as a cat attack victim, which is very common for passerine songbirds, especially when they're fledging and learning how to fly. There he goes.
Good morning.
Usually what happens is people will just let their cats out and not really put a bell on their collar or keep a close eye. And they might find a fledgling on the ground learning how to fly, and they pick it up and play with it. And a lot of times people call us, but a lot of times they just think that the bird will be okay if they don't see any obvious injury. But an important thing to know is that if there is a cat involved, we always need to be called because there is a risk of E. coli infection. Some more injuries we see with raptors, birds of prey, a lot of car strikes, a lot of accidents like that. With waterfowl, we see a lot of car strikes as well, a lot of human-related interaction accidents that really can harm them for the worst. So
really the number one threat to most birds is human interaction in some form, whether it be a pet or a car or something of that nature.
Yeah, that's usually what we see. It's very rare that we get a bird in that is sick from natural causes.
And something that y'all do here is you'll have to get up every morning about this time and feed the birds. Can you show us a little bit of that?
Yeah, sure.
And this is really interesting. They have a mixture of cat food and berries that they give to the birds, and we're gonna give you a little close-up here showing y'all how they feed them. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about this process?
Yeah, we usually make kissy noises at the birds just to kind of get them to gape, meaning they open their mouth getting ready to accept that nice yummy bite. And sometimes they just don't like it. Yeah, sometimes they're not in the mood. They don't want that piece of cat food, or they don't want that berry or We do a lot of crickets as well. They eat a lot of insects. So it really just depends on how picky they want to be too, if they're going to take it.
Well, coming up at 6 a.m., we'll have a little bit more on SkyWatch Bird Rescue and how they are run on donations alone. So stay with us. I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Caitlin, thanks very much.
The birds, they know what time it is.
That's right.
They're already going. They're already chirping away.
Probably roosters are crowing somewhere as well right now.
Local Rescue keeping its eyes on the skies, taking in injured or orphaned birds from across our area. Now, they say it's a necessary rehabilitation center because it's against the law for just anyone to kind of take in a bird and help rescue them. Carolina in the Morning's Caitlin Stansel joining us live this morning with what you should do if you actually find yourself in a situation like this. Caitlin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bob. We're actually here with the founder of SkyWatch Bird Rescue, Amelia Mason, and she founded this rescue, and she brings in injured or orphaned birds here and really rehabilitates them and hopefully to get them out in the wild, but not every bird is quite that lucky, especially Eva the hawk. And can you kind of tell me about her story?
Yeah, that's right. This is Eva the hawk. She's our educational ambassador. We use her to spread awareness and education to young people and do programs with her. She came in about a year ago with a severely broken wing that actually could not be salvaged, and our vet had to do a partial amputation. So she's non-flighted, and because she was so young, a first-year bird, we were able to work with her and acclimate her and get her glove trained for programs, and she's quite happy now. She has a good life, but you know, most hawks or birds of prey are not this lucky. If they get injured or grounded or get a broken wing, most of the time, if it's not salvageable, we have to euthanize them if we can't help them or transfer them. Hawks and raptors, you know, they have their plight usually is that they've hit windows or car collisions is the most common thing. When you're driving at night, owls are especially prone to hitting your car because when they're focusing on that prey from one side of the road to the other, they don't see cars because they go into a tunnel vision mode. So it's important to help slow down at night. One of the things that Eva's program spreads is awareness and consciousness. So as far as being a good citizen, for example, if you are trying to kill rats or mice in your house or outside or your shed or your roof or your attic or whatever, use snap trap instead of glue traps, and never use poison. You know, when you're poisoning a rat, you have to keep in mind you're not just poisoning the rat, you're poisoning whatever's going to eat that rat afterwards. So at night that would be owls, and in the daytime it would be hawks. So a lot of people are inadvertently, accidentally poisoning wildlife by trying to remove the pest. There are humane and effective ways that you can remove the pest safely without injuring wild birds such as Eva.
Wow, that is so interesting. A lot of things you don't think about, and we'll have more about this coming up in the next half hour, but I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. You can see the shadows on the wall, the sun's starting to creep up. Again, the hawk to me, it's personal because when I was little, we found one and we nursed it back to health. So it's nice to see the people doing the work that they're doing there.
Yes, it does make an impact when you can help an animal out like that, doesn't it? Well, from baby birds to birds of prey, a local rescue is taking them all in, rehabilitating the animals and getting them back in the skies. Carolina in the Morning, Caitlin Stansel joining us right now. She has a lot more on the SkyWatch Bird Rescue and what you should do if you find an injured or orphaned birds. Good morning there, Caitlin. Nice swan over there.
Good morning, Bob. Oh, it's going great out here at SkyWatch Bird Rescue. We're actually in this enclosure with the swan. And what's really neat about this rescue is every single bird has its own story when it comes in. And Brooke Holler, one of the interns here, is going to kind of share a little bit about this guy who actually came in yesterday.
Yeah, so we got a call yesterday from a woman who lived in Landfall, a neighborhood right behind Mayfair. And she said that there was an injured swan swimming around in the ponds behind the golf course. So we went and we captured him. We brought him into the rescue, and from what it looks like, he has internal damage from being hit by a car, which is very common for waterfowl like swans and Canada geese and things like that because they eat so much pond vegetation that I mean, a swan can eat up to 10 pounds a day. So he'll cross the road to go to the next pond because he's depleted everything from that pond, and this leaves him at very, very high risk for being hit by a car. Same with Canada geese. I mean, it's just such a high risk, and the only thing you can do, especially during the springtime, is make sure to slow down while driving around ponds and keep an eye out for those young geese and ducklings and, you know, babies, just to make sure that you're not putting them at risk being hit by a car.
And you were mentioning that every single bird, because it does have its own story, it has its own, I guess, dollar amount for what it takes to take care of them and get them back out in the wild. And for this guy, I mean, it could be a couple $1,000s, and y'all are run strictly on donations, correct?
Correct, we are. And I mean, we don't turn down any bird. We want to help every bird that we get in, and we run strictly on donations, and it's very, very important that we get those to help the birds, and that's why it's important to give to your local community and your rescues like us, because we do run strictly off donations, and we love what we do, and we want to continue doing it.
And we'll have more about SkyWatch Bird Rescue on our website, wect.com, but for now I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Caitlin, thanks very much. Good group helping out our feathered friends around here.
And it's good, and she keeps saying, they're doing that all on donations, and it looks like they're providing a lot of good services to these animals that are in need. The animal with the missing eye, it just shows you what they're able to do.
That's true. All right.
Well, local rescue now keeping its eyes on the skies, taking in injured or orphaned birds from our area. Now, they say they're a necessary rehabilitation center for the Cape Fear region because there are laws in place that just don't allow anyone to take in a bird. Carolina in the Morning's Caitlin Stansel joining us live this morning to let you know what you should do if you find yourself in a situation where maybe you come across one of the birds that are in a bit of danger. Good morning, Caitlin. Take cover. They're flying around your head.
Yeah, I know. Good morning. This is probably like the most active cage that we've been in today with these songbirds here at SkyWatch Bird Rescue. And they are the #1 rescue that they take in here. They get a lot of these birds. Tell me a little bit about that.
So this is our pre-release cage. This summer is extremely busy, one of the busiest we've ever had. We've got a little over 700 birds in just from May until the end of August, 'cause that's baby season. So as you can see, we've got a whole different variety of birds here. We'll tweezer feed them, which Abby is doing over here behind me, about every 20 minutes all day, every day. Well, except for at night, so that they can be prepared to feed on their own when they're eventually released. We do a soft release, which means we let them out, but we keep food available for them until they're able to do it on their own as adults. We go through about 10,000 crickets, so we constantly need that every week. So a lot of these birds have a variety of diets: berries, fresh fruit, softened cat food, crickets, mealworms, things like that. So.
And this rescue works on donations completely. And for each bird, I believe you said it costs about $40 just to take care of them. I mean, how important is it that the community supports this rescue?
It's extremely important for us to keep our doors open. We want to keep accepting birds, and the only way we can do that is with the support of the community. So with each bird, you know, if you can't give a monetary donation, even a household good, like some cat food or dog food or anything like that, will really help us out.
Awesome. Well, we will have more on this coming up in the next half hour, talking about federal laws that actually restrict just normal people in the community that find rescues for keeping them in their house. But we'll have more coming up here on Fox Wilmington in just a little bit.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. It looks like she walked into a Hitchcock movie. There's just birds everywhere all of a sudden.
Yeah, those birds were kind of more chill during the Carolina in the Morning on our sister station, WECT. Those songbirds.
Well, you pointed out it was feeding time again.
Yeah, maybe so. You know, they know the score. They know the drill. When it's time to feed them, they get excited. Well,
from birds to birds of prey, any kind of birds you want, a local rescue kind of taking all of them, rehabilitating the animals, and help getting them back out flying around the skies. Carolina in the Morning's Caitlin Stansel joining us now with more on the SkyWatch Bird Rescue. So, Caitlin, I joked earlier it was like your own personal Hitchcock movie going on for a while. You're now, it looks like a much calmer setting.
Yeah.
Is that an eagle or is it a falcon, a hawk? What do you got there?
This is a hawk, actually, and her name is Eva, and her wing was injured, and that's why she ended up here at SkyWatch Bird Rescue. And they actually use her for educational purposes now. And kind of what we're talking about at this point is federal laws that kind of dictate who can actually rescue birds, especially migratory birds. Can you kind of speak towards that at all?
Yeah, most of the birds that you see fall under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which means that they are not only state protected, but they're also federally protected. So it's illegal to, you know, find one, harbor it, and raise it yourself. It's not only bad for the bird, but you can also be fined for it. It's $15,000 per bird that is found illegally in your home. So we definitely don't want that.
So that's why a rescue like this is so important, especially donation-wise, that's why you really need donations here, because really only a licensed rescue area can take in birds like this.
Right, right. And if a good Samaritan comes upon a bird and, you know, wants to help it out, instead of keeping it themselves and trying to raise it, it would probably be more beneficial for the bird for them to bring it to a licensed place like ourselves and then become a volunteer. And that way they're still active with the bird and they feel like they're helping out as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Well, we are wrapping up here on Caroline in the Morning on Fox Wilmington, but we're going to have all the details that you need, especially about SkyWatch Bird Rescue, on our website later today at foxwilmington.com. But for now, I'm going to send it back to y'all in the studio.
Just the eyes.
Yeah, they're fascinating.
Yeah,
And a little freaky.
Well, you were saying that you had again, it was mentioned at the station you worked at in Greenville before coming here, an owl just kind of gave you to look at.
Yeah, we had sort of a week with a lot of nature visitors. You know, there's this thing, and the guy brought an owl one day, and he's standing here with the owl. It's humongous on his arm, and I'm standing where you are. And at one point, we just kind of like locked eyes, and it was like I was looking into the Grand Canyon with those eyes. I mean, they were just unbelievably deep, and just like they were looking right through me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so I'm thinking, no sudden moves. Everything's cool.
Just pick you up and take you away.
Because those talons are like diamond cutters. I mean, I was in awe of this owl.
And it gives you an understanding of why their vision. I mean, how they can just pick out their prey.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd hate to be like a small rodent or something in that guy's radar. You know, it was something else. Well, pretty cool animals there.